I'm going to Kansas City. If I come, I come, I come, I come. I'm going to Kansas City.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Chopping It Up with the Cleavers. My name is Emmanuel Cleaver III.
And I'm Emil Cleaver.
Every Tuesday we drop a new episode. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Chopping It Up with the Cleavers, or check us out most places you get your podcast. So the big news, Britney Griner sentenced to 9 years in a Russian prison because she was caught with less than a gram of marijuana cartridge, and so trying to get on a plane. And so she was arrested and she was finally sentenced to 9 years. And of course, the conversation is that there's possibly going to be a prisoner swap.
Possibly. We'll
I can see it happening. Because they're also, what I read this morning was they're looking at this guy, another American, his name was Paul Whelan, and he was sentenced to 16 years, but he was sentenced for spying. And so he's been, I forgot how long, I think he's been there for a few years. But of course, the United States said he wasn't spying. He said he wasn't spying, of course. I mean, that's what a spy is supposed to do if they get caught. I don't know if he's a spy or not. I'm just saying. But they're talking about a prisoner swap for a Russian here in the United States.
Arms dealer,
yes.
Very dangerous human being.
I know, it's not a fair, doesn't seem like a fair swap.
Not a fair trade. It's not a fair swap at all.
But that's what they're looking at. I mean, people have said, you know, even before she was sentenced, that her imprisonment was a political move.
Yes.
And so when you look at, there was another American back in 2019 who, Audrey Lorber, who was arrested, and she had 19 grams of marijuana prescribed.
Yes. What was her nationality? What was her
She
persuasion?
was she was American, but yes, she was white.
Yes.
She was white, but I think the difference is that Britney Griner has a name. I don't know that race is the factor. I mean, you think it is?
I don't know, because I don't know Russia. I mean, I know there's not many black people over there, so I don't know what the racism is like over there. I know that I would never want to go to a country like Russia or Yugoslavia.
Why not?
Or
I would.
Well, well, you go.
Why? I don't understand why.
Why? Just because I don't want to be in a country where I'm the only black person.
Well, there are black people in Russia and all those other places.
What's the percentage? I bet it's very
I know
low.
Off the top of my head.
Yeah,
I've looked. I've
want to live there.
All I said is I would go.
I'm not going.
Just
that's
because
one place I can die knowing that I never visited Russia. I'll be okay with that. But Ethiopia, Kenya, Ghana. I want to go to those places. Russia, Ukraine, I'm cool.
Okay.
But anyway, I'm sure she's scared over there. I'm sure she's terrified sitting in that prison. Hope they're treating her okay.
Yeah, like I said, I think it was a political move. I don't think it had anything to do with race.
Well,
because she has a name.
Yeah, okay. Well, they let the young white lady out for selling. She was selling it, right?
No, she was boarding a plane trying to do the same thing. I don't think she was selling. It was prescription. So it wasn't being sold. But you got to remember, Britney, I mean, who are they going to trade for this unknown teenager? I mean, what kind of swap? Britney Griner is a name. I mean, they're trying to get an arms dealer. So I don't know.
Do you think they should trade?
Britney Griner's family, I'm sure they're saying, yeah.
I know Britney Griner's family. I mean, everybody out there, do you think that's a fair trade? I mean, this guy is an arms dealer. I'm sure when he gets out, he's going to go back to dealing arms, weapons.
Maybe he's had a change of heart.
Mass destruction. Why?
Maybe he's going to promote wholeness and healing and love.
While he was in an American prison, he had a change of heart. I don't think so.
Maybe he'll join the nation.
I'm not saying that they shouldn't let her out or they shouldn't swap, but
No, yeah, it's not a fair trade.
It's not a fair trade.
I mean, when you think about it, I mean,
I was listening to Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan made a good point that America is making a big deal out of helping Britney Griner get out of a Russian prison for a minor marijuana offense when we have millions of people incarcerated in America for minor marijuana offenses. And they're still sitting there. They're not going to be traded for. No one's hollering about them getting out, even though marijuana is legal in I don't know how many states.
it's a bunch of them now. But yeah, I mean, now that's true. So it's a bunch of folk in prison here in the United. I mean, that's what we do in the United States. We are the best in the world about locking people up.
Number one. That's the only thing we're number one in.
Well, we're number one in mass shootings.
Well, I mean, that's why we have the prisons. I mean, it's a hand in hand.
Well, no, a
type
lot
of
of the people who are in prison shouldn't be in prison. I mean, that's what because we don't know about reform. We don't know about how prevention. So all we do is just lock people up because we don't have any better ideas. So you jaywalk, you go to jail. You get caught with less than a gram or a gram here in the United States of marijuana, you go to jail. I mean, so we don't know. That's a problem we have. But yeah, I mean, Joe Rogan's absolutely right. I mean, yeah, there are a lot of people here in prison that shouldn't be, and they're not going to get out. There's not going to be a trade, but
They're not getting out anytime soon. And
Yeah.
nobody's crying over it.
yeah, I wonder if the United States would have been as eager to try to get Britney Griner out if the war in Ukraine wasn't going on. If it wasn't, if Russia wasn't in the national news here in the United States every day. I mean, maybe. I mean, she's still a big name,
Yeah.
but
I mean, she's been over there playing for what, 9 years? How long she's been going over there
I don't
playing
know.
for years upon years. So my guess is she's been bringing that over there and doing that for 9 years, however long she's been over there. And, the Russian officials were probably tipped off this time, or they may have already always known,
Yeah.
and just let her do it.
I think
Until
it
now.
was a political move.
Yeah.
They arrested her. It was a political move. Well, big name American. We got her before she gets on this plane. And, they're about to they're possibly going to get what they want. They get this arms dealer, which, is crazy to get this person back on the streets, in the underground, doing whatever he's doing. But
I wonder if they're treating her okay in that prison. I mean, and I wonder how big of a celebrity she is in Russia. I mean, because they make more money over there. The women's sports are bigger in Russia, so she may be a bigger star over there. So I wonder if the guards are treating her like, a big celebrity, or she's getting treated badly. She's the tallest person in that prison probably. And, I'm
a
sure
real
one
good
of the few
chance.
minorities. I'm guessing. I don't know, though.
hopefully she's doing well. Hopefully they're treating her okay. And we'll see how this swap goes. So in the coming weeks, we'll see. I'm sure we'll be talking about it sometime in the near future.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully it won't be 9 years from now when we're saying
No,
Britney
no.
Griner is released.
Nah, yeah, I'm sure they're going to work something out before now. I mean, because they want this arms dealer. I mean, they want their people back doing the dirt that they were doing. So I think Russia is eager to make the deal. Not, well, if this guy was really a spy, I mean, it's kind of a fair deal. I mean, I mean, but we don't know because I wouldn't believe what they say.
See, and that's why I'm saying don't go to Russia, because they could just arrest you for no cause. That's why I don't want to go to Russia, a country like that.
Man, you think Russia's the only country that
No,
could
but
do
I
that?
mean, I don't want to be stuck in Russia with that.
Yeah. Well, some more news that happened is Alex Jones, and this is I'm trying to think what's the best way to describe him.
Is media.
Yeah, I know he's
media
media,
guy.
but he has to have. I'm giving an adjective. I know he's a media. He's a conspiracy theorist.
Yes.
Twisted mind, I guess I'll call him. This is the guy back in 2012 when the Sandy Hook shooting happened, the deadliest school shooting in American history. He said that it was all fake on his radio show. And I don't know how many listeners he has. I'm sure he has a bunch. But he kept saying, and so when the parents were on TV crying, he was like, these are actors. These people are getting paid.
That's crazy.
And so the parents sued him, and he was found liable and has to pay $42.5 million in punitive damages. And of course, before he got what he had to pay, he said, anything above $2 million would break his company,
which is a lie. Well, I'm guessing it's a lie.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm thinking he makes more than his company's worth more than $2 million. I mean, with all the conspiracy theorists out there who follow him, his crazy stuff, and he pushes more than the Sandy Hook, but that's just what he's been sued for.
Yeah, listening to him on the stand, it doesn't sound like he's too bright, but people listen to him.
No, I mean, a lot of people aren't bright that have TV shows on Fox News. I mean, Tucker Carlson is not an intelligent human being at all, but I mean, he's not.
Yeah, I've listened to him enough. I mean, I see.
And they have quite a few who are just, they have that platform because they're willing to tell lies and tell them loud, no matter who's listening. So people want to hear that. There's a lot of people want to hear people on TV say the things that they want to believe.
I think a lot of people listen to people like Alex Jones and Tucker Carlson, like the lies that they're putting forth. People's like, well, they're on TV, so I mean, he's on the radio or on TV. He has a streaming service,
that goes to show
so he must be right.
Of Americans, the American ignorance.
It's like that. You remember that episode in Seinfeld where they were pitching the show to NBC, and George Costanza kept saying it's a show about nothing, and the NBC executive, then why am I watching it? And George's like, because it's on TV.
Yeah,
I mean, so people believe him because he's on TV or because he has a radio show. I mean, if you just listen to him, I mean, the Sandy Hook was fake. Come on.
Yeah, and I was watching one of the parents. They got to talk to him in court, and they were saying, "I'm not an actor," and you can see him. He's still shaking his head, like, "Yeah, you are an actor." He's still trying to push this. I don't know if he really believes it or he has some agenda that he's trying to push.
Just trying to keep his fan base. I doubt I mean, come on, unless he has really serious mental issues or his
he does have serious mental issues.
Or his IQ is 1. His IQ is 1, then he has to know that it wasn't fake. If it's not one of those two, I mean, he's just making it up. I mean, come on now. Because every news outlet was talking about it, but he didn't. I mean, he's like, it's a lie because he has this fan base. He has these extremists out there who listen to him. And so he was going to try to hold it up until he saw, hey, I'm not going to win this. And so then he started getting, sad and started, wanting people to feel sorry for him. He actually played the victim because he said that, he now knows that it really happened. But he said, the media won't let him take it back, that they continue to push, what he said earlier.
Media won't let me take it back.
No crybaby. The media won't let, come on. And then he said that he's been typecast as someone who's obsessed with Sandy Hook. That's what he said, man.
Man, he was obsessed with it. I mean, that's how he became famous over Sandy Hook. I mean, I never heard of him until he started this. It didn't happen and all that. And I don't understand why somebody would do that. I mean, I think one of the parents of those Sandy Hook victims, one of the big ones, one of the big ones.
Yeah, put him in a room.
Put him in a room with Alex, man, and let him explain to him that it is real.
Yeah.
I bet a parent like that could really could really get to have some influence over him. And
You
really
think,
make
you
him
think
believe.
you think it'll give a positive impact on his life?
Man, I think it would really have a positive impact. I
Change
think it
his
would really
perspective.
change some things. He would believe in Sandy Hook, I guarantee you.
Well, this 42.5 million is gonna help him believe some too.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know the dude. I've never listened to him. All
Me
I,
neither.
you know,
I mean, I just hear
I've
the
heard,
news
but
stories.
it's hard for me to believe that he really believed that. He knew that there's an audience out there for it, and that's what he was pushing. And he's trying to keep his audience. Hopefully, he loses company. He said 2 million and up. I'm sure it was more than that, but hopefully, he loses his company over this. Yes, I said that. I mean, he should.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Somebody
sure
like
he
that
will lose his company.
doesn't need to be talking to millions of people.
No.
But then he said something during the trial. The prosecutor or the family's attorney was like, how are you going to do something about conspiracies now? And he said, you mean something like the Clintons and Epstein, and how the Bill Clinton was with Jeffrey Epstein while he was molesting these young girls.
That's what he said on the stand?
That's what he said. The judge kept, if you go back, the judge kept saying, this is not your show. Just answer the question. Don't add anything. You think this is a show. She kept getting on him. But that's what he said. And then, of course, Marjorie Greene Taylor praised him on social media for it. Of course, she didn't say anything about
against her, but please win.
She's probably in a safe district. That's the thing about it. With all the gerrymandering, I'm sure she has a safe district. But of course, she's not going to say anything about this dude telling lies. I mean, she probably believe. I mean, no telling what people like that believe. Yeah. He was she was probably listening to him. That's why, listening to him, I have to run for Congress. I have to get out there. Because if what he's saying is true, there's a pizza parlor that has children in the basement. I've got to do something.
Yeah, and crazy people.
So you can tell she listens to stuff like that. But hopefully, like I said, he loses his company, and those parents get the money. I mean, he pays that out.
Yeah, hopefully he's a poor human being.
You want him to go broke,
living in a shack for the rest of his life.
Yeah, I mean,
I know it's a terrible thing to say, but
is it
he's
really
a terrible human being?
If he's a threat to other human beings,
yeah, he is a threat.
Then I don't know why
he's
it is
a threat to society. So I mean, and unfortunately, they can't put him in prison for it.
Yeah, I don't see. We got this freedom. I think the freedom of speech thing. I think that's gone out of control, man.
You should have freedom of speech.
Yeah, but you can't. But the reality is, you don't. There's some things you cannot say. I mean, if you yell fire,
well, I mean, you can't lie. I mean, I guess in certain situations on national television, I guess you can't. Well, he has an internet show,
but
lies.
But perhaps
lies every day. So.
But perhaps the fact that he's being made to pay this money will stop other extremists on TV, radio, or streaming services from pushing these crazy conspiracy theories. I mean, it should. They look at him. Oh, he had to pay $42 million. Maybe it might stop some of this. I mean, we need something. So I'm glad that they came down and didn't just say $2 million. Like, let's get this dude's company to disband permanently. Other news, and this is, it's funny, but it's kind of sad because it's been happening for years. decades upon decades. So
you can say it's been happening over a century, actually. Yeah.
John Leguizam, an actor, Latinx actor. I mean, he's been in a bunch of things.
Bunch of movies.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know who he is.
It goes on and on. But he is upset because
rightfully so.
James Franco, a white man, is playing a Cuban leader, Fidel Castro. James Franco. And John Leguizamo is like, you couldn't get another Latinx actor to play this Latinx character. I mean, it's ridiculous.
That continues
Come on,
to
James
go on.
Franco. James Franco's cool. I mean, I like
he
some of his
does have
movies.
the sexual harassment cases or
He
charges.
he does have
accusations.
that.
I mean,
I meant to say he's had some movies that I like.
yeah, he has some good movies.
But man, come on. I mean,
Yeah,
but what? I mean, if you're asked to play, hey, do you want to play a role that it's between you and Jackie Chan because you're playing an Asian person? I mean, wouldn't you
want to
as
play
a human
Genghis
being?
Khan?
Well, John.
I know that's what I was about to say.
We'll talk about
That's
that
why
later.
I brought it up.
But wouldn't you, as a human being, like, no, I can't. I mean, I can't play this Chinese character. I can't play.
Well, let's look at it like this. Our brother Ev just played Romeo in Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, but that wasn't. I mean, it's different. We're talking about characters that we are actual people based on historical figures. I mean, Romeo and Juliet, although it was by William Shakespeare, and I'm sure the original not sure. I'm positive all the original actors were white
And men.
Yes, but over the years, I mean, it's not specific to only white actors.
Right.
But we're talking about a historical figure who is of a specific race and or ethnicity, played by someone who is not even close.
Well, he's probably thinking that he's a great actor and he can pull it off. That's what he's thinking. I'm guessing that's what he's thinking. I'm not saying that's right because me personally, I think it's some really racist behavior.
It's arrogance.
And it is extreme arrogance. Extreme arrogance.
I mean, to think that he can play. I mean, next maybe. I mean, you're gonna have somebody like that, James Franco playing Shaka Zulu. I mean, come on now. I mean,
What's his name? Played Michael Jackson.
Yeah, come on, man, that was crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, there's a long history of white actors playing people of color in major motion pictures. And it even goes back before movies when actors on stage would put blackface on and act black, however that is, on stage and in stage plays. So it's been going on before movies, television, film, all of that. It's a long history.
If this
and it's still going in 2022. That's the bad part about it.
And so all these people that are supposed to be woke in Hollywood, because Hollywood's supposed to be woke, right? It's supposed to be a woke crowd. Yet, why isn't anyone except I've only heard John Leguizamo speak up. I mean, others. I mean, I think he has enough credibility where he can say something. The others might be punished for standing up and saying something.
Yeah. That's why
that's the problem.
We'll see as it gets closer. Hopefully, critics will talk bad about the movie.
There's no way I'm gonna go see that movie. No way possible.
And I encourage all of the viewers not to go see that movie
because they will keep doing this.
They're gonna keep on doing it
until those movies start flopping.
Yeah.
When
some of the more recent ones have flopped, but people are still going to see it, and it's a disgrace. I mean, it's upsetting because you have actors of color who are being denied roles or who have to be subjected to roles of a slave or a butler or a mammy or a buck
or just
or
a small or just
or
a pickaninny
or a pimp or
just have a small role in a movie.
Yeah.
So this is, I mean, come on, James Franco, you
know better, man.
Yeah, you should know better. You should know better.
During that filming, Annapolis with Tyrese, it was kind of a spinoff of the same thing as A Few Good Men back in the day. Louis Gossett Jr. and not A Few Good Men. Louis Gossett Jr. and Richard Gere. What was the name of that movie?
Officer and a Gentleman.
Officer and a Gentleman. So there was a movie back in the 90s, Annapolis, was very similar to that. They call it Annapolis. It was pretty much the same thing as Officer and a Gentleman. James Franco played the Richard Gere character, and Tyrese played the Louis Gossett Jr. character. And they did an interview with Tyrese after the movie, and he said that James Franco was the biggest asshole during that movie.
For real, what was he doing?
He just said, I guess he's a character actor, and he stayed in character. And when they would cut, he would still, stay in that character, which was the enemy of Tyrese. So,
so Tyrese is just trying to get some water, and James Franco's still.
Yeah, pretty much. Tyrese was like, it's a movie, you don't want to go hang out, and James Franco's going off on him and all this. So, yeah, that's.
Sometimes you have to dot people's eyes, man.
Well, he wanted to stay on that movie, back then Tyrese wasn't, as big as he was now. It was before the Fast and the Furious movie, so
I'm sure.
He couldn't just dot that I.
So hopefully, like I said, if we stop watching these movies, supporting these movies, then they'll stop doing it.
Yes.
Because if we don't, if we go support movies like this, next thing you know, Ryan Reynolds will be playing Malcolm X, or Jake Gyllenhaal will be playing Marcus Garvey. He's playing Marcus Garvey, Back to Africa. Come on. I'm telling you, if you look at some of the others,
I don't think people would stand for that. Even though there have been some pretty ridiculous.
Man, it's some that we've already stood for.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into the list. So this is, I don't know if it's going to be, if it's a top 5 or just 5. 5 movies where a white person played a person of color or a different ethnicity.
Yeah, it's our top 5.
Yeah.
So
I went first last time.
It's a long list, so.
I went first last time, so I'm going to let you.
So my number 5 is, and he's been in the news lately, he won in court big time against his crazy wife. Johnny Depp in The Lone Ranger played Tonto. Now, the real life Lone Ranger
was a
black man. I have to say that. But for the movie's sake, they got in a TV show, they got a white man. And of course, his trusted sidekick was a Native American, an Indian named Tonto. And in the remake, Johnny Depp, the white man, great actor, decided, man, I think I can play a Native. And then I remember he got a bunch of flack, and he was talking about, I did research, and I have Native American in my blood, man.
I'm 1/18th Native American. Come on, man.
That's
You ain't no. He ain't. How come he never said that until he got flack for the movie?
Well,
And the Black Lone Ranger is Bass Reeves. That's who it was based off of. The Lone Ranger was really a black man.
Black man, yeah.
All right.
So number 4, this is an old movie, 1969, I believe. Laurence Olivier played Othello. Now, this is a Shakespeare play, but Othello was written to be black because that has something to do with the whole play.
Yeah.
So he is a black man. In this movie version of Othello, Laurence Olivier, of course, he painted his face black and talked what he thought was a black man. Talk like a black man.
Probably got some nominations for
I'm
that
sure
craziness.
It is. So I'm sure people in the '60s were mad about that. That was a couple years before we were born.
But black folk couldn't even say anything.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe NAACP, but it wouldn't have made a whole lot of noise. They wasn't trying to hear.
So number 3 on my list, and this is a very, very famous movie, Elizabeth Taylor.
Yeah, got to.
She played
Cleopatra,
one of the great Egyptian rulers in Cleopatra. So I've seen this movie as a kid. As a kid, before you learn anything, you don't know any better. Then as you get older, a little older kid, you understand that this white woman is playing this person of color, and in the movie they have black people playing, of course, once carrying her around. Of course, those black Egyptians, they can portray them right, the ones playing in the subservient roles. but the rulers, of course, were Caucasian. So Elizabeth Taylor played.
Unacceptable. That's unacceptable, man.
It is unacceptable that she played Cleopatra. And that is unacceptable. So there were a lot on this list, and I had to leave some off. But this guy really never knew his name. I've seen the movie a bunch of times. His name is Arnold Vosloo. I think that's how you pronounce it. Arnold Vosloo, and it is in The Mummy. He plays Imhotep.
Oh, yeah,
remember?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
So Imhotep in The Mummy, this movie with Brendan Fraser, Imhotep is a real person.
Yes.
He is the father of math, science, writing, poetry.
Architecture. I mean, dude is,
But he is a black man. He's blacker than this, as black as this pole, this mic stand right here. But he is played by a white man in The Mummy. And I think in The Mummy Returns, maybe also he makes an appearance. But this is a ridiculous, I guess, cast of an actor, Imhotep. I know a lot of people today don't know who Imhotep is. So, watching that movie, it was acceptable. Well, when I first saw it, I mean, I liked the movie, but that part really, really bothered me, that this white man played Imhotep.
Well, see, Hollywood still has a problem with accepting ancient Egypt.
Yes, they do.
I mean, just one, I know Egypt today looks different than it did in ancient times.
It's been conquered many times.
Right. But even today, Egypt is not filled with white people. I mean, even today, it's not.
Yeah. I remember when I was taking a master's class at UMKC, and we had a class discussion, and there was this person, I think I've told this story before, a person from Egypt who came in and said when she filled out to become a citizen here, to go to school here, she had to fill out nationality, and under white they had Egyptian, so she had to put she was white, and she had a problem with this. She said, I'm not a white person, I don't feel like I'm white, and all that. So I mean, that is a big problem, not only in Hollywood but America. Because of what the great things they did in Egypt, they had to be
accept
white.
it.
They had to be white.
They can't accept that right now.
They cannot accept that.
They can't accept. But Egyptians were not white.
No, they were black. So the number one movie, another very, very famous movie, and this guy is a jerk. From my cold, dead hands is his famous line. Charlton Heston in the Ten Commandments, he plays Moses, which is ridiculous in the Middle East. A white man running around in the Middle East. And nobody ain't saying nothing because he's running around with a bunch of other white people in the Middle East, which is Africa. People like to say Middle East. It's Africa.
He was in Egypt. Yeah. The funny thing, so if you look at Moses, I mean, I know all the pictures of him are white, and he's looks like he's, from Norway or Sweden, but his ancestor Abraham came from Iran. It's not Europe. And
ancient Iran.
Yeah. And they settled in Africa. His descendants settled in Africa and were there for hundreds of years. And Moses, so you're talking about some people, ancient Iran, Mesopotamia, coming and spending hundreds of years in Africa by the time Moses comes around. Moses didn't look like he was from Sweden.
No,
he just wasn't. That's bad.
And if he did look like that, they would have made a big deal out of it, I think, because he'd have been the only one.
Like, where you come from, man?
Yeah, so that's my top 5, and there are many more.
Yeah, so we'll talk about some others. So because you named those, I'm going to try to name some that you didn't name. Okay. Just a few. I mean, I had, of course, Cleopatra and Charlton Heston. But so let me say one that wasn't maybe as big a movie, but Jake Gyllenhaal played
it was a flop. I think because of that
played the Prince of Persia. You think it was a flop because
I think it was a flop because people complained that a white man was playing the Prince of Persia.
Yeah,
I believe it was. I remember there were people complaining about it.
The arrogance. Why did these dudes think that they could just?
And Jake Gyllenhaal is one of the best actors out, I think.
But what's the arrogant? Like, okay, I can play somebody Persian. I can play.
I don't know why they thought that.
Another movie, number 4, I'm going to put John Wayne, who played Genghis Khan.
John Wayne didn't even like
people of color. Yeah. Well, he didn't, man.
Yeah, he didn't.
In the
and
movie,
he played Genghis Khan. Come on, man.
In the movie The Conqueror in 1956, John Wayne played Genghis Khan. How ridiculous can you be? I mean, that is outright ridiculous.
Absurdity at its finest.
But people are okay with it. But just so that you know that this, like, because you shared some modern movies, I'm gonna share one that won the Academy Award for Best Picture. So I have to bring this one up. This is Ben Affleck, who played Antonio J. Mendez in the movie Argo, which was based on a real life CIA operative, Antonio J. Mendez. And Mendez. So if you go look at the picture of Mendez in real life and look at Ben Affleck, of course they try to do some stuff, maybe send him to the tanning salon for a few months and do something with his hair. But this was about CIA operative who rescued 6 Americans hostages in Iran in 1980. And instead of getting a Latinx person to play Antonio Mendez, they got a non-Latinx person, Ben Affleck, to do it. So yes, of course, that was ridiculous. The other, I have Charlton Heston, just because that movie's so big. It comes on every year.
Yeah, every year.
During Holy Week, the dude played Moses. I mean,
and he loves his guns.
Well, he loved them, yeah.
Yeah, well, he's probably buried with the gun.
Yeah, but this, I mean, just for him to play, and then just all the other Hebrews. And remember when they're leaving Egypt, one of the little boys says, "Look, Mom, some Nubians." You know, because there's some black folk like, oh, come on, man. It didn't even make sense.
No, it didn't.
And, you know, your boy played Moses recently. What's his name?
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe. I never watched that movie.
Was the Gods of Egypt?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think that was another movie that. No, he didn't play Moses. He played Noah.
Yeah, that's right, Noah.
He played Noah.
Noah.
I've never seen that movie either.
Yeah,
Russell Crowe, man. I don't see how he gets to play a tough guy in Hollywood. This little short, chubby dude.
You don't think he's tough?
I mean, even when he played Gladiator, he was a little short, chubby dude, man. I mean, come on, man. No muscles. He played James Braddock. No muscles whatsoever. Come on, man. Like, how did he get to play a tough guy?
He is a good agent.
Yeah, I guess so.
Good agent. So the number one, it's not even a movie. It's a person. His name is Al Pacino.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Number one is not a movie. It's a person. Al Pacino has played Tony Montana, who was a Cuban American, and Al Pacino,
little racist, overdone accent. It's a great movie.
Pacino,
but
he's
his
Italian.
Accent is just over the top.
An Italian.
He wasn't the only white person playing
a
Cuban in that movie either.
Yeah,
Frank, the guy he killed. Remember Frankie, his boss?
Yeah,
he was a white man.
Yeah,
playing a Cuban.
But not only did Al Pacino, the Italian American, play a Cuban, he also played a Puerto Rican in Carlito's Way. And again, that doesn't make any sense, people.
And the ironic part about it is John Leguizamo was in that movie.
Yeah, he was. Benny Blanco from the Bronx.
I mean, of course, he wasn't as big as he was.
Yeah, so he was. Yeah, he wasn't going to get the lead role.
Yeah,
because he was just up and coming. But still, they could have found someone out there.
Yeah,
someone out there who Latinx. I mean, come on. And Al Pacino, of course, you know, he's. I guess he figures he's an actor, and so I can play a Cuban, I can play a Puerto Rican, and I can even play someone who's from Ghana. That's what he believes.
Well, we didn't name what's her name that played the black woman. What's her name? Angelina Jolie.
Oh yeah. What movie was that? She played
a black woman. I think it was a True Story over. I can't remember. But yeah, she played. It was a straight up Negro. I mean, she just played a straight up Negro, and I guess she hit the tanning salon and kind of curlied her hair up a little bit. You know, she already had the big lips to play the Negro woman. But yeah, she was she had her turn playing.
Yeah, I'm looking at the pictures, man. Yeah, they tried to darken her up.
Yeah, they darkened her up.
In a Mighty Heart.
A Mighty
and she played,
Heart.
Moraine Pearl,
Yeah.
who's a real person who is not white.
She's not white.
She is not white.
I think she was biracial, mixed white and black.
But her skin,
her skin is.
She if you saw her, she'd be black. I mean, if you Google her,
no one would think that she was white.
She is black. I mean, and they had to doctor. You can see Angelina Jolie. She did go to the tanning salon, and they had to do some stuff with her hair. So instead of getting a black actress, they got a white actress.
Yeah. Crazy Hollywood.
And they're supposed to be the woke ones.
Supposed to be.
Who was that? That was Chris Rock or Dave Chappelle. I think maybe Chris Rock, where he was at an event and President Obama was there. And he's like, said something to the effect, I'm going to mess the joke up, like showing the president here, all these white folk, these are the good white folk, and even they won't hire black people. I think that was during the Academy where because the first one, where he really went off when they were black people were protesting the Oscars. Rock? Yeah, it was Chris Rock. And yeah, he just went off, man. That was one of the greats.
Because he is one of the greats.
He told it, man, but those folk were uncomfortable because he was talking about them. Like, these are the good white folk, and even they don't hire black people.
Yeah. Hollywood.
So you got to make some changes, Hollywood.
Yeah. That's why we're working on our movie right now. A little comedy. It'll be out soon with black actors playing black people.
It's going to be good. So this is our list. Let us know if there's some other movies where someone white played a person of color.
Or a TV show.
Yeah, or TV show. The
Mickey
whole thing
Rooney.
with Bruce Lee. Yeah, Mickey Rooney. Yeah,
Mickey Rooney played an Asian guy.
Yeah, and that was. That was straight up racist.
If you go look at that picture, I can't remember the name of the movie, but
yeah,
Mickey Rooney was a big star in the 40s and whatever. But he played a racist.
It was just a stereotypical Asian character.
Yeah, and then Bruce Lee, of course, they took the what was it, Kung Fu? They took
the Legend of Kung Fu. He was supposed to be it, and put a white man in it instead.
And put a white man in it.
and we were supposed to believe that dude was Chinese.
Yeah,
Come on.
I think he was mixed with something because his skin wasn't. Whatever.
Man, he was probably Italian or something.
Yeah. He was white.
Yeah.
But they took it from Bruce
Lee.
From
Bruce Lee. Come on. How much better? Because that dude didn't really know martial arts.
He didn't know martial arts.
They had to do a lot of camera stuff. But just imagine if Bruce Lee was doing that. You'd see some real
expanded
stuff.
His legend.
Man. But they messed it up. So, there's been some TV shows and movies. If there's one out there, some out there that we missed, let us know. Every Tuesday, we drop a new episode. Check us out on our YouTube channel, Chopping It Up with the Cleavers, and most places you get your podcast.
Peace. Next week.
I come, it's where I'm from, yeah. I say I'm gone.